Hey everybody, Brannon Beliso here. I'm still flying high from yesterday. It's time live event. Event. That's my Filipino coming out in me. I just want to say I'm grateful. You know, I sing a song and I have an opinion and it's all my own, and it really has no weight. It means nothing unless it's in line with your values, your vision, and what you want to do. Somebody had asked me, you know, why are you so against contracts? And I said, I'm not so against contracts. I'm so for service. That's all it is. And they say, I don't get it. You're a consultant, yet you tell people not to listen to consultants. I said, that's not true. What I said was, you need to be a critical thinker. You need to create your own voice. You need to tell your own story. And you need to sing your own song. So, it's amazing in the world of communication how misunderstood things can be and how it gets taken out of context. So then I asked myself, what am I responsible for? And I think I'm responsible for telling my story. I'm responsible for making a difference, impacting the community, and doing that. You ever sit in a circle? Here's a classic example. You sit in a circle. This first person here whispers something into the person's ears next to them. And they whisper it to the person next to them and next to them. By the time it gets back around to the guy who originally said it, it's a totally different story. I find that quite common in communication. So, my passion and purpose is to master communication on a higher level. So the question that Stephanie offered me that I want to address for her, and I hope she's on here, is how to grow my school on a small budget. How to grow my school on a small budget. Well, number one, realize every big business was once a small business that thought big. Every big business was once a small business that thought big. I love when I see that picture they post at Facebook. You know, here's Disney, here's Microsoft, here's Apple, and they're all pictures of garages. They started out of a garage. They started out of a garage. So, I'm going to share my story. I opened my location in San Francisco with $40,000. Now, mind you, this is San Francisco in the year 2000, so things are not inexpensive. I opened it with $40,000 of money that was not even mine. By the grace of God, I had one investor, AJ and Ravi. They put in $10,000. Another friend, Julia Pana, put in $3,000, I believe. Gail put in $5,000. So and Tony put in a couple thousand. Annabelle put in some too. And then by the end of the day, I had $40,000. And we've all had this story. I was in business with my instructor and things fell through, and then I found myself on my own instantly. So I was able to pull that together and open up this school with $40,000. Now, I don't recommend that. I recommend that you first write a business plan. Write a business plan. And part of that business plan is your SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? And what are your threats? You need to know that. And I would recommend that when you write that business plan, you allot for 6 months of living wages for yourself, 6 months of rent, 6 months of marketing, 6 months of expenses. I mean, all the way across the board. I unfortunately, again, by the grace of God, I opened my door with 100 students. And this is something else I would recommend. At the time I opened that school, I was teaching at 3 different health clubs. I was teaching 3 different martial arts schools. And I was teaching at an elementary school through the Park and Rec. That's a lot of different places, right? But the unique thing about that, kind of like satellites, The unique thing about that, it allowed me this pool of people to pull from. So when I finally left the health club, left the different martial arts schools, different environments, and I pulled it together, I was able to open my doors with 100 students. So again, if you're on a small budget, you might recommend renting space in a fitness club. I might recommend you do something through the park and rec, different things like that. Because if you can do that, and you have a student base, and already you have income in place, then that will help a lot for you. Cool? So let me review that really quick. Stephanie, you just came aboard. So how to grow a school on a small budget. Number one, do a business plan and have those projections. Like we projected, we wanted to have 300 students in this new location at the end of year one. We hit 285. Remember, if you can see it, you can be it. Having these clear goals, writing them out, being able to see them clearly, you have a better chance of hitting your mark versus you just get in the car and drive and wherever you're going, right? Second part of that, Stephanie, was was creating that business plan, allotting budgets, living wages for 6 months, rent for 6 months, expenses for 6 months, gas and electric, the whole 9 yards, marketing for 6 months, all those different things. Make sure if you are doing a brick and mortar store, Stephanie, in your storefront, you have 6 months worth of resources. Another thing I recommended before I opened my doors at the first location, Stephanie, I was teaching at 3 different health clubs, 3 different martial arts schools, and through the park and rec at elementary school. So when I opened my door, I had 100 students. Times 100 students by what? 150? I already had $15,000 right there. So I knew I was making rent. I knew I was going to be able to pay myself $3,000 a month, which wasn't a lot, but it was a livable wage. And then beyond that, it's not that I was cheap. I think I was prudent. I lived on a very fixed income. I was renting a room in my sister's house for $500 a month. I didn't take very many vacations. I didn't take any vacations. I was working 17-hour days. Anything I made, Stephanie, went right back into that business. And I'm huge on guerrilla marketing, right? Classic example. I would hang flyers in laundromats with little tear-off phone numbers. I would hang them on flagpoles. I had little handouts that I would stick under the windshield of a car. I would find out where this big 5K is going on and stand out there, passing out my flyers as people finished the race and they were walking back to their cars and stuff. There's so many grassroots marketing events you can do and get involved in if you're willing to do that. Here's another example. Me and my team volunteered to hand out bottles of water along the route of a 5K. Okay? So there's like 15 or 20 of us. And we're all wearing one martial arts apparel. And we were along the route of this 5K. Is that instant exposure? Yes. Were we giving back to the community? Yes. I recognized, Stephanie, my store is open. And it's empty. The goal, Stephanie, is to fill that school with as many people as you can all the time. It's just like a restaurant. If you walk by a restaurant and it's completely empty, do you think you're going to go in there and eat? What do you think? Are you going to go in there and eat? I don't think so. But if you walk by that restaurant, Stephanie, and it is filled with people, I think you're going to take a look in and think about eating there. It's the same thing. If you have a school and you're paying rent, whether there's somebody in there or not, you have to pay that rent, the water, the garbage, electricity, correct? So it was our goal to simply pack that school with everyone and everything that we possibly could. We approached the Girl Scouts. We did self-defense workshops for them. We approached the school and offered free buddy days to the kindergarten classes, the first grade classes at graduation. I believe we went to my son's school and offered every one of his friends in his class a free birthday party at One Martial Arts. I realized the more people I could get into my culture, quicker, better, and faster, the better opportunity I had of creating potential trials and prospects. Does that make sense? They were just amazed that here we are throwing this free birthday party for their kid, and we have 30 kids that have never been in our school. So I could charge for that birthday party, and I'm a brand new business, and it's hit and miss because they don't know who I am. They don't know the quality of my service or products. Or I can put my money where my mouth is, offer it for free, get more people through the door, and have the opportunity to promote the value of our culture, the value of our programs. So I think that's a big one too. But I think beyond that, Stephanie, it's really, 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 really about having a clear vision of who you are and what you want to do. And I'll tell you why. When I opened my first school, the one in San Francisco, it was called One Health and Fitness. It has nothing to do with the martial arts, does it? Does it? So, because I had envisioned this Eats Meets West gym. We're going to have Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Yoga, Qigong. We're going to have a juice bar with green drinks and Chinese herbal teas. We were going to have an acupuncturist on site doing Chinese herbs and medicine. There's no freaking way that was ever going to happen in the place I opened this school and in the building it was in. It was too small. It was like, 2,200 square feet. So I did not have a clear vision in that respect. Not at all. The minute I got rid of all those things. We even had a masseuse on site at one point. But when I got rid of all those things, called it One Martial Arts, focused on what I did well, which was Kempo Karate, and built that children's program and my kickboxing for moms, it took off. Everything took off. But there was a very, very shift, that shift that went on inside of me of what I saw in my head and what the demographics supported, what the community needed, what the community wanted. I got it. I got it. And that's when things took off. So I'm going to recommend that too, Stephanie. The vision you have in your mind and the demographic that your school is in and the demographic that you serve might be two different things completely. And you want to be mindful of that. I'm not going to open a high-end Apple store in the most impoverished environment that exists. Is that fair? Let me reject this call. So, I want you to be mindful of that. And I'm still flying high from last night, you guys. It's been an amazing year, and I think I shared that with everybody. It started with being in Spain, and then in Mallorca, Spain, and then traveling through Germany, working different schools, and I want to thank Stefan for that, Stefan Billing. I love you, Stefan. I just want to say publicly, I know there's been some misunderstandings, but I love you, sir, and just know that. You just know that. Look me in the eye, and you know I love you. So, and that's a conversation hopefully me and Stefan can have at some point. So I want to thank Stefan Billing and Bruce van Kamkunst for that amazing tour through Germany. I know my thinking's radical. I know it's innovative, and it can overwhelm people. I tend to do that. And so sometimes I got to tone it down, but I make no excuses. And then, of course, I was able to go to Seattle, courtesy of Rocky A Build. I was in Springfield, Illinois, courtesy of John Gaston. I was in New York. Michael Pham, thank you, sir. I was down in Florida with the Omeraviches. And then, of course, Rainmaker, who backed me up, through this whole tour and sponsored me. And Vision USA. I'm grateful to all of them. And then to culminate with this It's Time Live, the event we did yesterday here, and I did one here back in April as well, and to have people all over the world watching and learning and growing, and to see them hopeful again, to see them have this new sense, this new renewed sense and faith in the martial arts and what it could potentially can offer them, in impacting the community, making a difference, and being extremely profitable. All of the above. I'm blessed by that. I've been very, very blessed this year. Plus, I took 3 months off during the summer. I have 2 books coming out in the next couple of months. Those are finally done. We've done some amazing projects this year. And I can't do it without you. You support me. You watch my live, my Facebook Live. You support me by purchasing my products and my programs. And the people with vision. Everyone from Stefan in Germany to bring me out there. Most people won't do that. They won't have that type of open-mindedness and vision. All the way to all the different people that invited me into their schools to teach. I'm just blessed, and I'm extremely grateful. And on top of all that, our schools are flourishing. Our bottom line increased by $250,000 more this year. We'll do 1.65 million, and that's amazing. I've never phantom making that much money, and I can't do that without a team. But that, to me, is proof of my teams, the systems, the culture we've developed. If it can run better without me there, then we're on to something special. So that's the other thing, Stephanie, I want to close with. When you think about your business, be mindful that a great business is not built in a day. Don't look for the get-rich-quick things. Don't look for the things, that you believe are going to yield a lot of students right away. Because that's one of the bigger challenges, Stephanie, is I know we have to make rent. I know as a small school, you're trying to grow it quickly. But here's my example of that. I'm going to share this with you because to me this is brilliant. One of the most expensive crops is blueberries, right? During the winter, when I get blueberries in a little bitty box, organic, I spend about $7. $7. Hey, Don. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Don saying thank you for the live streaming event. You're very welcome, Don, sir, and I'm very grateful you chose to spend your Sunday with me. So, for a little thing of blueberries, I pay $7. Okay? Now, here's the kicker. When you cultivate blueberries, say you're a blueberry farmer, you rototill the soil, do all the things, plant. The first season, you get nothing from the blueberries. They're not edible. The second season, you get nothing from the blueberries. They're not edible. So what I've read, and correct me if I'm wrong, by the third year, you get blueberries. Well, I kind of look at my business like that. Blueberries. I know it's not going to be where I want it to be in the first year or second year. But I believe by the third year, if I'm not rocking hard, then I need to evaluate and change gears, make changes, which we're always doing. Any great business is always evolving, changing, growing, because your business is a living, breathing entity, Stephanie. It's always growing, and that's a constant. But I want to go in an upward projectile with my business. So be mindful of that. Look out for the salesmen that are going to tell you, and it could be a vow pack, it could be a direct mail person. You get those calls all the time, right? Let me do your SEO optimization, I'll get you more leads than you can imagine. And there's a lot of that. And because you might have those moments of desperation, Stephanie, where you really, things feel tight financially and you just need 10 more students, be careful. Because a lot of salesmen in this world capitalize on your fear. And you make that impulse buy, and that's where that terminology comes from, buyer's remorse. You ever hear that one before? Buyer's remorse. And that's because the buyer is remorseful. They purchased this product because they didn't really want to. They were coerced in it by some really good, slick salesmen. And there's buyer's remorse. Why do you think in many environments, they have the 72-hour cooling off period? So in 72 hours, if you don't want that product, you can take it back. Because 9 times out of 10, it's an impulse buy. I don't want impulse trials. I don't want impulse students. I can't grow a tribe. I can't build a culture based upon that. I can only do so by patiently earning trust from people, patiently and respectfully and responsibly investing in that relationship and growing it. You feel me? So, the It's Time Live, you can watch it again. That's going to be available in about 24 hours. People are already asking me, I didn't get to watch it. Can I purchase it? Can I purchase it? We're getting it uploaded now. So those of you that already bought it and watched it, some of you will have 24-hour access. Some of you will have a 30-day access. Right? And new people who want to buy it, you're welcome to buy it and watch it too. Cool? So I'm going to open it to any questions you might have. You're hanging out with me. I'm just chilling, hiding in my car. Looks like the school's open. They're getting ready for kickboxing. Any questions you have about growing a school on a small budget? Growing a school on a small budget. What you got? Anything? Come on. Because if you don't, I'm going to get out of here. Hey, Brian. What's happening, sir? A lot of good questions, Brian, yesterday. Thank you for the input. It was great. We were fielding questions from all over the United States during this It's Time Live, and we were getting them from Australia and Germany and Spain and the United Kingdom. It was crazy. It was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. I don't think Spain. Did I say Spain? I'm not sure. But Canada, it's always very grateful. You know, the message of service and this new way of doing business is a movement. It's starting to take hold. We're seeing more and more schools becoming profitable through this mindset of no contracts, upgrades, belt fees, where we really focus upon service. One of my proteges, Andre Mavis, is doing really well in Germany. He was probably the first person to drop contracts, focus on service, free parents' night outs, those different things. I know he mentioned a woman who has a jiu-jitsu school who also did the same thing in Germany, and she's becoming extremely profitable the same way. What I like about not having contracts is each and every day somebody walks through my door, they can simply quit. So me and my team, as volatile as that may seem, my team and I are put in a position to produce each and every day. It's kind of like they say, you know, you're only as good as your last show. You're only as good as your last movie. It's the same thing here. We are only as good as our last class. We're only as good as our last class. So I say it all the time, and I think this is part of my success formula, is I can't have a bad day. I need to be on. I need to produce. I need to make it happen. Hey, Christian has a question. What do you think is better when you start hiring the staff? Paying by the hour or salary? Paying by the hour. Absolutely. Because if you're just hiring somebody, I'm assuming it's not going to be full-time. Correct, Christian? And if it is full-time, the challenge with salary is on those weeks they're working 50 hours because you have a booth on a Sunday and you have a birthday party Saturday, they get resentful. Hey, I'm not being paid for this. But on the flip side, when they're sitting there on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or maybe you close Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend, and they're being paid for that, they're not going to come back and say, yeah, that's pretty cool, I'm getting paid. That is the challenge when working with people that are used to hourly wages. Like my guy in San Francisco's on salary. He gets it, he loves it, you know. If he's sitting there on a day off on a Monday down in Disneyland and he's being paid. So it's very, very cool. So I would recommend hourly because I think budgeting wise, Christian, you might pay a little more per hour at this point, but you're only paying them for the hours worked. Does that make sense? Now, if you are in a position to put him on salary, he's going to run a location and it's that, then that's different. Salary is normally reserved for what you would probably label as upper management, people like that. Cool? All right, what other questions you got for me? Great question, Christian. What else you got for me, folks? So, this Friday, I am going to do a live webinar, courtesy of my sponsors, Rainmaker, and it's going to be Everything Rainmaker. I'm going to call the webinar Everything Rainmaker. And I'm going to do it Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I haven't posted it yet. I haven't posted the link, but we had a lot of questions about Rainmaker. And spread the news. I'm a school owner. I use Rainmaker every day, all day. And I'm going to tell you everything about Rainmaker that I know. So what's neat about it is you'll be getting it through the eyes of a school owner who actively uses it, deals with the strengths as well as the challenges. And I'm going to share with you how we work through those challenges. Because I say it all the time. You know, no software is perfect. Just like no relationship is perfect. There are going to be challenges. That's life. So what I really look for is the service. Who's going to serve me at the highest level? And because it's tech, you know, software, who's going to be the most innovative? Who's constantly improving their product? And I believe Rainmaker's all those things and more. Jeremy has a question. What are the best marketing materials to start spending money on? Well, I think the most immediate things, Jeremy, and that would be, and we do it on a nice piece of shiny paper. You can print color on both sides. We get it at Office Depot. We have our own Toshiba printer that we lease. Please think about that, you guys. We do a lot of paper, and to walk it over to FedEx, Kinko's, or to pay for a color copy can get quite expensive. I lease 2 copying machines, one in San Francisco, one in Millbrae, and we're paying, I don't know, $165 for the lease, and then you pay for the copies through another service and the ink and all that. So per location, I'm probably spending $300-400. But we did the math. If I was doing the same amount of copies at one of the printing places, that amount would be about $600-700. See, so you look, oh, what's that? I got to pay $400 a month? Yeah, but if you're doing $700-800 worth of copies and prints, and what I love about that, Jeremy, not to get off the subject, is if I do a schedule change or I want to tweak something, I can print small batches of things, and it's not an issue. You feel me? So, you need to have, and it doesn't have to be a trifold brochure, Jeremy. It just has to be a nice laid out graphic. Describe the program on one side, your youth karate program, flip it over. It should have the schedule, what to expect, maybe a call to action, just very, very basic. Because remember, if they walk into your school, Jeremy, they're already there. They don't need some big flashing light, groovy, type of brochure. Like a rack card would be a little more designed, a little more Hollywood, just a little more, right? And then you definitely need a basic rack card, 90-pound stock, printed on both sides, maybe a matte finish, a shiny finish that you can take to the booths, do at your, different events, and be able to have that. Because outside your school, Jeremy, you should have all-weather brochure holders that you can keep these rack cards in. Especially if you have a lot of foot traffic, Jeremy, you need that. So those are some of the marketing materials we spend money on instantly, whether it's a birthday party flyer or a day camp flyer or my after-school transported, pickup program. You want to have proper branded, Jeremy, consistent marketing materials. I look and people will use a flyer from this organization and a flyer from that organization. I've even seen somebody take mine, and I'm okay with that. It's not a big deal. I don't mind that. But what I do mind and think is a huge challenge is when brands are not cohesive. They're not cohesive because their marketing is not consistent. Remember, imagery, you're conveying your image, Jeremy, so it needs to be consistent in color, consistent in pictures, consistent in your logo, and do read up on flyers and things like that. You don't want the biggest thing across the top to be your school name. That actually becomes the smallest. What you really want to do when you design a printed market piece is, what is my connection? Do I fulfill their purpose, right? So, hypothetically, let's say, and I don't market this way, I'm not into fear or sex marketing, but just for the lack of a better example, it would say, lose 10 pounds fast, right on top. And then it'll go down and talk about kickboxing. See, there's that, can I fulfill your need right away? Let's take something simple like Kentucky Fried Chicken. What is their slogan? It's finger licking good. Boom, right on top. It's finger licking good. Or for that working parent, right? Dinner in 5 minutes. You have to fulfill a need. You're trying to fulfill a need, Jeremy. So you want to make sure whatever header you have, and it should be all uppercase. I learned that too. As we're redesigning this website, if you want to draw their eyes to something, all uppercase lettering really, really achieves that goal. So you want to get that call to action. Know that you're fulfilling their need. It's not call to action, but that header fulfills their need. So that's just a little bit. But if you don't have any printed materials, please get on it right away. It's not hard to do. You can basically do it in any of the software that's out there, whether it's a PC or whether it's your Mac. There's good software. Use your own pictures. Use your own testimonials. Be transparent. Show people you're real and show them what they're buying. Don't use some, groovy pagoda and some stock photo and they come into your school and there's a huge disconnect because immediately, Jeremy, that will create distrust. That will create distrust. It will. I walk into your school. Where's the chick with the six-pack abs? Is she teaching kickboxing? Oh, no, that's a stock photo. Can I talk to that parent that gave you that martial arts testimonial about how great it is? Oh, no, that's stock testimonial that was given to you. That's not cool. I don't think it's cool. Some people are okay with it. They do it all day, every day. That's okay. That's you. And if you believe that's the way you want to do business, that's cool. I think one of the reasons we're at 345 in 21 months at this location, San Francisco holds court at 562 consistently year after year now, is because we are transparent. We are honest. We're out there. Go to my website right now, onemartialarts.com, which is being rebuilt. Click on the curriculum videos. They're right there in the lower left-hand corner. Somebody said that to me, Jeremy. They go, you just put your videos out there like that? You don't make it secret so people have to... I said, no, why would I do that? I want to be a transparent business. I want to be honest. I want to be upfront. A classic one, Jeremy, is when they see, okay, hey, your trial's $99 and a uniform. How much is it after that? We pull the price sheet. We don't go into some song and dance. Well, the national average is somewhere between $99 and $169 or whatever, and we're very competitive. We don't do that. We give them the prices right up front because we work reverse psychology. Our goal in the 4 weeks you're there during the trial is to give you a compelling reason to pay me $189 a month. You feel me? So it's reverse engineering, and it works really, really well for us. Most of our conversions, most schools are happy with 50%. We're converting trials at about 75%. Thus is why the school grew so quickly here in Millbrae. Cool? Any other questions before I get out of here? I got a meeting with Lorenzo. Lorenzo, make sure you're here by no later than 10 o'clock, okay? Make sure you're here by 10 o'clock. Anything else you got for me? Johnny, hey, sir, thanks for yesterday. Really appreciate great information. Good. Good. Make some systems, man. We wrote some good systems yesterday. We learned the value of systems. We learned the process of writing systems. And now you can become a master of writing systems. Without systems, your business will fail. We need systems. Systems allow us the freedom to train a team to execute those systems so you don't have to. And if you write great systems, your team should be doing it better than you. Cool? Alrighty, folks, anything else you got for me before I head out of here? Get those questions. Remember, this Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I am going to do a webinar on everything Rainmaker. Look for the link. I'll put it out as soon as I get the opportunity. Everything Rainmaker. Cool? I haven't seen my schedule, but I might be kicking myself in the butt. I'm going to do it this Friday, 11 a.m., Everything Rainmaker. Again, I want to thank everybody. It's been an amazing year with It's Time Live. The events we produce from Spain, all over the United States, Germany. I've had a very unique opportunity, and I can't do it without any of you. The people that sponsored me, that supported me, that took me through all this, I'm grateful. And those of you who still want to watch the live stream of It's Time Live from yesterday, it will be available in 24 hours. I recommend it. I highly recommend it. Cool? Alrighty, folks. Thank you so much.